Hey guys, welcome back to another Merly on Time. Thanks so much for tuning in. You can see I am all set up to finally do the review of this stunning watch. This is the Islander High Beat Automatic in Salmon. It is absolutely wonderful. I hope you stay tuned. Okay guys, a couple of things that I gotta do before we get to the review. I first of all want to thank all of my subscribers. I am almost at 900 subscribers as of the filming of this video, and I am going to be doing an awesome giveaway at 1,000 subscribers. I'm going to give away a quartz watch and an automatic watch, two watches that are highly regarded among the budget watch collecting community. They're two of my own watches, and there's going to be possibly more included in this giveaway. So if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing so. And this coming Monday on the channel, I am going to be having my second Beyond the Watch podcast slash vlog slash whatever you want to call it. And I am so excited that this week's guest is going to be my friend Adrian Sales from the channel Somewhere in Time Watch Reviews. I will leave a link in the description where you can go and subscribe to him if you haven't done so yet. And it's going to just be an awesome chat, and we're going to get to know what makes Adrian tick beyond the watch. We're going to chat on Sunday. It's pre-recorded, so if you have any questions that you want to ask Adrian, let me know in the comments of this video, and I may include your question as a part of the video. So thank you so much for that. So now let's dive into this review. We're going to begin with the up close and personal montage. Music was provided by that guy right there, Adrian Sales. So I hope you enjoyed the up close and personal montage there, guys. And again, my thanks to my friend Adrian from Somewhere in Time Watch Reviews for providing the music for that. Now you can see I've brought two watches with me today along with the ISL 37. This is my Seiko SRPD 59. It's actually the watch that I am wearing on my wrist today. Absolutely beautiful watch. And I also brought the Islander ISL 19. which is Mark's homage to the Seiko SKX009 watch. Now, with respect to this watch, this is what we're looking at today, and of course we'll begin by sharing the basic specifications of the watch. And so what you are dealing with here is a case size of 38 millimeters. It has a thickness of 11 millimeters. It has a lug-to-lug of 44.5 millimeters, and it has a Miyota 9015 high beat automatic movement in the watch. Now, with respect to this movement, it is a high beat movement, and so it does beat at 28,800 beats per hour, providing a smooth sweep to that seconds hand that you can see ticking at 8 ticks per second. It has a 42-hour power reserve as well. The movement is both self and automatic winding, and so when you unthread the crown, and we'll get to that in just a second, you pop it out, you can wind the movement to get it started by turning the crown clockwise. Some other important specifications: you do have a signed screw down crown. The crown on this watch is excellent. There's some nice knurling on the crown, very easy to engage, very smooth unthreading, no grittiness whatsoever, a distinct pop when it comes out of the threads there, and again you can wind the movement by turning it clockwise. It has two very distinct clicks when you pull the watch, or pull the crown rather. The first click will enable you to change that date at the 3 o'clock by turning clockwise, and of course the movement also hacks, and so when you pull the crown to the second position, another nice distinct click there, you can see that the seconds hand has stopped sweeping so that you can set this to your iPhone, to the atomic clock, whatever your pleasure. Now, this particular movement that I have in this watch using the Watch Tracker app is running over a period of 7 days that I have kept it running. It is running at plus 7 seconds per day, so it is well within specs, and so it's running great. You do have a sapphire crystal covering this dial, and it does have some AR coating on it. You do have a display screw down case back which shows off the high beat automatic movement, the Miyota movement that is in the watch that is powering the watch. The construction of the watch is surgical grade 316L stainless steel. The bracelet, let's talk about it for a moment, has a wonderful Jubilee style bracelet on it. It has solid end links, solid links. It does have screw pins on the bracelet for easy adjustment, and Mark does provide the screwdriver to unscrew those pins to adjust the bracelet. You do have a milled clasp. There's no signage on the clasp or anything like that. It does have double security lock or double security push deployant and a fold over lock as well. And you can see you have 3 levels of micro adjustment, which will enable you to get a nice fit on your wrist. The watch also has really good lume. Those indices are filled with Superluminova, and you can see at the start of my lume video that it is shining bright like a diamond. And I can tell you that this lume does last all night long, all night. Okay, so it really is very good lume that is applied here. Let's just skip forward a little bit, and so you can see after 5 minutes, still pretty strong. I have an iPhone 10, and I adjusted the iris of the camera to be fully open to let as much light in as possible. Still not as good as the naked eye, so once we get to the 10-minute mark, it's still going strong. At 15 minutes, it's still quite legible, at least on the camera. It starts to fade a little bit at the 20-minute mark, but once again, the naked eye can see this much better. The lume does last quite a while into the night. No problems whatsoever telling the time with this one. Great. So let's talk fit and finish for just a moment. The bracelet is super comfortable. There is really no stickiness whatsoever. Great articulation in all of the links. The underside of this bracelet, it has been smoothed, really nicely machined or smoothed. There's no sharp edges. Very, very nice. As far as the finish of the watch is concerned, you do have a mix of polish, high polish, and brushing. The high polish areas of the watch, as you can see, are a bit of a fingerprint magnet. So I'm just going to wipe this down. We'll take a look at the side profile of the case, which is polished. And you do have a nice bevel edge here. There's no chamfered edge or anything like that, but it's got a nice bevel to the profile of the case there. When you get to the top of the lugs, there's some fine brushing there, which matches the outer links of the Jubilee bracelet, just vertical brushing that runs down it, and you have some high polish mid links to the bracelet as well. You do have male end links, which does make the lug to lug a little bit longer than the 44.5, but the size and proportions of this watch are quite amazing. This will fit very nicely on my 7.5-inch wrist or larger wrist, and it's definitely well accommodating for smaller wrists. You can see that the bezel has a nice polished finish as well on it, and so the standard of finishing on the watch is quite good in my opinion. Clearly the star of the show on this watch is this amazing dial. You can see the striations, or the brushed finish if you will, on that dial that provides a beautiful sunburst effect to it, and in natural sunlight it looks absolutely amazing. All of the indices are silver lined and applied, double batons at the 12, batons everywhere else except for the 3 o'clock, just that little square indice there to accommodate for the date window. You can see the date window itself is beveled, and the number 27 and all the rest of the numbers are perfectly centered on the date wheel, and so they did an excellent job of executing that. You have the Islander logo applied below the double batons above the pinion, and the word automatic is also applied. Rehaut that matches the color of the dial with a minute track printed along the outside, and every 5 minutes is a little bolder than the other markers. Absolutely amazing dial on this one. I was sold immediately on it and had to have it. Absolutely just gorgeous. All right, and if you like this watch, head on over to longislandwatch.com, and what you want to do is in the search area, just type in Islander high dash beat, and you will pull up all of the watches in this lineup, including the one that I got today, and you can get this one for $349. There's the salmon dial version, brand new, released just this week. The linen dial version of this watch. Now these last two that you see in robin's egg and navy blue, they are currently out of stock, but you can put your email in and they'll notify you when they become available again. So for $349, you are getting a very well made, well spec'd out watch. Let's discuss the price of that in just a moment. And here is what it looks like on my 7.5-inch wrist, and you can see just under this certain lighting it will give off a bit of a pink look as well. You can get this in cotton candy on Mark's website, but this is pink enough for me. Absolutely beautiful. All right, but as the song does say, every rose has its thorn, and this certainly has a couple of things that I would like to see differently. First of which, so these are my minor beefs in the beef section. The first beef is, I agree with my friend Andre. Given that this is a dress watch, it would have been nicer to have some high polished finishes on those indices, or at least the lining of those indices being a higher polish, as well as the hour and minute hand to give off some flare and glitter in the light. But as it is right now, they don't really play with the light too much at all, so it would have been nice to see that. My second beef with this watch is the date window at the 3 o'clock. not the date window per se, but that little square indice beside the date window. I would get rid of it and just have the date window. I think that that little indice at the 3 o'clock beside the date window it just doesn't look right to me. It's just a little off-putting and throws off the symmetry of the dial. That's just in my opinion. These are certainly minor beefs. The other thing that I did notice about this watch, and this is why I brought in, my Seiko watch as well as the other Islander watch, the integration of the end link into the case, as you can see here, is not flush with the case. In this one, the end link sits a little bit lower than the lug on the case there. You can see the lug on the case protrudes up a little bit, and I think it's something that Islander may have to address with the factory that assembles their watches. And the reason I say that is because you can see that on this Islander watch with a similar Jubilee style bracelet, it just doesn't integrate as well as it should on this one either. This time the bracelet sits a little bit higher than the lug. Now, why do I mention that? It's just a minor beef. It's certainly not something that is going to be a deal breaker for me, but you take a look at the Seiko and it is absolutely flush with the case, as it should be. I mean, it really should be. And same on this side, the end link in the case, it just fits flush. And even on the Loris watch that I recently got, which was $80, had a really crappy bracelet on it. It will be featured on the channel soon. The end links match perfectly on that case as well. And so those are my 3 beefs with this one. Now, we do need to talk about the price. And let's turn the camera around and I'll just give you my concluding thoughts about this one. And I want to address a viewer question about the price. All right, so you saw the 3 minor beefs that I have with this particular version. And I want to address a question that came as a result of my unboxing, or a comment rather, from one of my viewers that suggested that instead of buying a Islander watch, if they wanted a homage watch, why wouldn't they buy a Pagani or a Steel Dive instead? I think it's fair to say that this watch is paying homage to, or takes inspiration from, an Oyster Perpetual by Rolex, and so why spend $349 on an Islander watch as opposed to getting a cheaper version on Aliexpress by Pagani Design or Steel Dive? And let me just address that question. Well, when you buy an Islander watch, number one, you know that you are buying a well-made, well-specced out quality watch, bar none, absolutely, for sure. Not so much, especially when you're buying a Pagani, you know there's going to be some quality control issues with the Pagani, less with Steel Dive. And the bottom line is, when you buy a watch, if there are issues, if you deal with Mark, those issues are going to be resolved. Mark has some of the best customer service, if not the best customer service out there. And as a Canadian, or as an American, as most of my viewers are, what would you rather do? Pay a little bit more knowing that you're going to get a quality watch with no issues, and if you do, that you're going to get taken care of, and support a company that is in your region of the world? Well, I would rather do that if I could, and I can, and so I am buying this one. So that's my answer to that question. Guys, thanks so much for checking out another video. Again, I am overwhelmed by all of your support. I appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so. And remember, whenever you leave your house, you must have a great looking watch to wear on your wrist, like this Islander ISL 37 high beat automatic. And remember, wherever you're going, to get there on time. God bless you guys. We'll see you in the next one.